it. Corn pop.
Just fucking do it, Stuart. You know, it's sometimes you catch some of the best stuff before the intro, you know, and even like right now, just goofing off and the camera is rolling and they are recording us and the episode has officially started. So welcome back to another episode of Waking the People with your host, Sir Chad Everett Rocheers, and your co-host, my co-host, the man that even Prince would sing about, Joshua Todd McClendon. He's your patriot, my Kraken, and he's got some subjects. So let's get it. Let's get to Kraken. You know what? That's almost too Dr. Seuss, but it didn't rhyme properly enough. And I'm embarrassed that I did it, especially now that it's going out to the world. What a bad role model.
No, but I mean, I think that my nicknames that you created, because no one ever gave me those nicknames. Chad just said them on an episode one time. So I feel like those nicknames that you've created from the very beginning have stuck with it. Like even when I think of our show, just as a viewer, I always know that that's coming in the intro, and it's something that, and maybe it sounds really narcissistic of me, but as far as like just like how little things stick. So Chad and I were talking. Welcome back, guys. To another episode of Waking the People. Beer episode. I know I'm gonna get some ragging for this one. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Live in Joe Biden's America. It's cheap. It's cheap. Inflation's coming. Things are expensive. It is what it is. But
label color is wrong for Joe Biden's America. It needs to be red with some red or yellow stars on it. Anyway, all right, only 4 yellow stars, but whatever. We'll keep going.
But we were just talking about how just from the beginning of the show, like when we first started this, how not just the world or our country, but just in our own individual lives, how much has changed since the very beginning into now. And it was really like blowing our minds. Like maybe you can relate to this in your life about how, our society is really built on what's in the future, what's next, what can I do, how can I better myself, or at least it should be in some way. But life, man, it just snowballs on top of one another. And next thing you know, it was 3 months ago, and your life is 10% different than it was 3 months ago. And just that 10% change has either led you in a good path or a bad path, or maybe a path you didn't know you were on, but then all of a sudden showed itself to you. So it's just crazy how time moves and how that can relate not just to your own individual life, but to a society's life, and to a country's life, and to the world's life. Yeah, it's pretty freaking insane.
Yeah. Well, it's so easy to get caught up. Like we get so focused on one particular thing, and we tell ourselves, you know what? I need to accomplish this goal. We get goal oriented, or so it's either, you'll always be one of these two things. You'll either be goal oriented or you'll be frustration oriented. Now, well, okay, let's go on a third. No oriented, no orientation. Now, so you'll be one of those things, but are you're goal oriented or you're not? And how many people, when you get to that point where you're focusing so much on one particular thing, a lot happens around you, but you develop this sense of tunnel vision. Now, it's a good thing if you want to accomplish that goal. It's a bad thing if you don't want to miss something. I'm sorry, it's a bad thing if you don't want to miss something. Wow. Look at what kind of day I'm having over here. I sound like a freaking an idiot. I promise I'm not, guys. If you've ever watched this show before, you know I got something going on upstairs. Even though if it's just a dust collector for an out of date and out of freaking no, it's out of date mechanism. Old brain, it's still an antiquated thing at this point.
It's true, because I mean, we get so hardwired to achieve something, and that can be a really good thing. I feel like most people, not saying that I am more adequately equipped to handle this kind of mindset than others, but I feel like a lot of people could benefit as far as focusing on any goal, whether it be their physical health, whether it be a financial goal, whether it be a personal goal as far as at home or relationships. And there's a lot of good that comes out of that. But it's also, I know we've talked on the show about it before, about how, sometimes it's good to be a master of many things and not just one thing. There is another side to that. And as far as, we can focus on things in our lives that we think we really want and we really want to achieve, and we can definitely succeed in that. That's the whole saying, put your mind to it. But the downside to that is there's other areas of your life that will probably suffer in some way due to that inner drive to achieve that goal. It's just like life, right? The yin and the yang, there's good and bad. And with, some good, there's always going to come some bad. There can't be negative without positive, but it's good to take a step back, Chad, and just kind of look at it and say, wow, like just when we started the show, what is this? This episode 52?
No, slow down there, buddy. This is episode 44.
44.
We have officially been at it for more than 8 months.
8 months.
More than 8 months. Yeah, we've been at it. Right? Take it in. 8 months ago. Yeah, we started. So, but it really is easy to get tunnel vision. It's easy to get associated. Like, so, and we get taught this. It's our society teaches us this. If you want to be successful at something, you need to keep it in focus. Right? You need to become obsessed with it. So, you know, you can't lose it. Now, there's a problem when you become over specialized because you become inept in other areas. Not all skills are transferable. So let's say, you know, you like a quick little story that I had of a friend of mine. He was stranded out in Orlando, Florida, and I lived in Spring Hill at the time, which is a good 2.5-hour drive. And he was out there hanging out, and he had a party or whatever, and he stayed over at this guy's house that was in this gated community. And it was an upscale gated community, $400,000+ houses, you know, and up to $1 million houses in it. And so his Jeep dies. And he calls me up and he goes, "Hey man, my Jeep won't start. Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Well, sure. What is it? What's it doing?" And I asked him a few questions like, you know, does the headlights turn on? What if they do? What color are they? You know, do they seem like they're full force, or do they seem like they're lower? Do you have any electronic issues in the vehicle? Stuff like that. Just got to do a quick little diagnostics. I'm not a mechanic, but I have some mechanical applicability, right, and aptitude. So I walked through it with him, and he's like, "You know what? I don't think it's that. You know, can you come get me?" And I'm like, "Well, look, you know, you could either get a cab or have one of the people that you're with at this house just drive you over to the auto parts store, take the battery out, go with you, go to the auto parts store." He goes, "I don't think that's what it is. Can you come help?" I'm like, "Well, fine. You know, I'm a good friend. I take the ride over." I call him on my way over, and I'm like, "Okay, well, why do you think that this isn't the case?" I'm not like over questioning it, but I'm just trying to, you know, dig a little bit deeper. And he goes, "Well, there's a guy that lives a couple of houses down in this really big house. And he is a, what did he say? He goes, this guy is a scientist." I'm like, "Well, what's he a scientist of?" And he goes, I don't know, but he's a scientist. He came over and he said he was a scientist. He took a look at the Jeep and he said he doesn't know what's wrong with it. And you probably need to take it to a mechanic. And I'm like, "Okay." And it's like, "So I think it's the battery." And he goes, "Well, I don't think it is because this guy says so." I'm like, "Well, to be fair, that's not his area of expertise. His area of expertise is something else," because he looked at it. Now, lo and behold, 3 hours later, after the initial call, I bring him over to I just take the battery out. We go over to the auto parts store and we swap it out, go back, put it in, boom, Jeep fires up, we're good to go. Point of it is that he went after, because this guy is a scientist, right? Well, he's well educated, therefore he must understand, you know, the mechanical aspects of the vehicle and the electrical components of the vehicle. So therefore, and the problem, this thing is that guy is a scientist. Let's say the whole world falls apart and there's no more infrastructure, there's no more support systems or structure systems that we have right now. Would that guy be more survival? Would he have a higher likelihood of survival, or would he have a lesser likelihood of survival? Now, it depends on how he's developed, right? It's not just, okay, he's a scientist, therefore he's going to be good. Doesn't mean he's not. He may have some survival skills. Who the hell knows? He may have been one of those, you know, high-ranking Boy Scouts. What do they call those? Freemasons?
Masons. Yeah, it's true.
This is going to keep me from getting into Freemasons in the future, too, by the way. They're going to be like, "We know you made that joke about us."
Probably. Hey, Chad, before we move on to the next topic, we have a special guest today, and you didn't even introduce her. And it's kind of, you know, it's a little rude.
Really?
We don't run that kind of show here. Yeah.
This is now my side chick, and you're going to make me introduce her.
Yeah, it's a little rude.
Well, there's two things. All right, so two things here. It's about to rain. There's some thunder rolling in on the horizon, and instead of having her scratching at the door, because she would inevitably do that, this is my beautiful little girl, Athena, who's doing the proper introduction by turning her head and tucking it and licking her butt. Hey, you're on camera, baby. There you are. Hi, baby girl. All right, well, she's wore herself out. She's a little winded because of the effort she's gotten keeping herself clean. And anyway, there's one other thing. We got a comment last week on our last episode.
I think I saw it.
Yeah. So I went ahead and replied to it. I don't know if you got to see the reply as well, just to make sure I'm really clear, because this person, I believe he was in Japan, or writing in Japanese. So, but maybe it wasn't even, I don't know. It's whatever. But anyway, so this person did make a comment, and good on him, you know, wherever he is in the world watching this, kind of like taking value out of it. But he did think that my flag behind me, or over my my shoulder, not the Gadsden flag, the no tread on me, it's the other one that's a red Chinese flag, or at least it looks like it. That's actually not a Chinese flag. That is my tribute to Facebook, because of Facebook's censorship and communist tactics that they use. So that's the Facebook emblem in blue with the white F, which stands for fuck off, or fascists. I don't know which one we want to go with there. But then you have the 4 yellow stars or gold stars for the Chinese Communist flag.
Yeah, I mean, and to that commenter, hey, if you are from Japan, you watch our videos, thank you. Like, we really appreciate it. I hope that it reaches that far. And maybe, Chad, I don't know. I've never been to Japan, so I don't want to speculate on Japanese culture. But maybe over there, they don't talk, or like they don't make fun of things as much as we do. Maybe they're a little bit more, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say respectful. That sounds bad. Shoot. Anyway, just more reserved, more reserved. That's a better word. More reserved.
Yeah, just different value systems, right? It's like not all jokes, like okay, so jokes in England, by the way, the English make fun of us relentlessly.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Okay. Oh my God. It's like they make, like, if you tell them, oh, hey, have a great day. In America, that's a nice pleasantry. And when I say it, I really mean it. I hope you do have a good day. Over there, they consider it to be incredibly insincere. Like, you really want me to have a good day? And the kind of sarcastic humor that comes out of that, very dry, very sarcastic. There's things that we do, like double parking. Well, here, double parking is parking over parking over a dividing line of parking spot. That is not what it means in England. So it means something completely different. I'm not going to go into it, but I'll just say that it's something that you'd likely find on Pornhub.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. To me, Chad, that sounds like a little bit of 1776 butt hurt. Like, they can make fun of all of us all they want. You know, I get it. It was a while ago. We can get over it. You know, y'all, you know, English people have a bunch of, you know, weird stuff they do too. Everything is cheers. So what, y'all a bunch of alcoholics? Does the whole country just drink all the time? I can't say good day, but cheers is a acceptable farewell in any setting whatsoever. Even when glasses aren't available, Chad, and there's nothing to cheer. So, you know, England.
Yeah, you got to like cup your hands and then like do that little like, you know, just go, you know. So yeah, so today's episode overall, we're just kind of like BSing a little bit, just talking about just random topics. Now there's plenty to talk about, and we'll get into that in a minute, but it's really just kind of going over some of the things that really we just wanted to address, but, you know, kind of ease our way into some great topics here. So that's not a Chinese flag. So that's for that reason, I did bring it up because of the commenter. And as far as Joshua is concerned on that, I do feel that he's in the right direction, because culturally we don't see the same types of humor and or sarcasms, or there's other variances that don't necessarily translate well. Some names don't translate into foreign languages, and the same thing goes for some situations, circumstances, or perspectives. So they just don't work culturally or across the cultural divide. So with that, that's actually intended to be more of a joke and or pointing out some ridiculousness of the platform and how they claim to, you know, be a great platform for free speech and, you know, connecting people, but they really create more of a division and censor speech they don't like. So
I can use that, Chad, a little bit of a segue. So the first topic, I didn't tell you about this topic, but I do want to hear your take on it.
Yes,
so before the episode, Chad and I were talking about technology and how it's grown. Now, there is another big technology company, I guess you could call it. It's an app. It is for content creators, but it does include some, you know, some risque content creators, and that's Onlyfans. So Onlyfans, I think it was a couple weeks ago, announced that they were no longer going to allow adult content on Onlyfans. And yeah, Chad. So it's got some major pushback. Okay. So they even said, I think it was either today or yesterday, that they're actually going to retract that statement, and they're not going to remove adult content on OnlyFans. It's I don't disagree with it. I mean, listen, it's OnlyFans is an app, and if you so choose to produce this product, whatever you think it is, this content, and you consent and you think it is what you want to do, I'm a capitalist. So at the end of the day, do what you got to do, right? There's safety measures in place as far as the age limit to view. Hopefully there is. I've never been on OnlyFans. I'm only speculating. But what is your take on this OnlyFans kind of world, Chad, that we live in?
I think it's bullshit, okay? Cutting into my revenue, all right? I've been bleaching parts of my body to make sure I'm meeting the demand that I got for my fans, okay? All right? No, I mean, I'm joking about it, but really, Thema, right now? Okay, that's enough. You gonna be a guest today, or are you gonna be a distraction? Anyway, so yeah, no, what it was, so there's more reason behind it than what they published. So I looked into it a little bit. Give me 1 second. Let me take care of this real quick. So if you want to continue on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, OnlyFans it's funny. So I was thinking this on the way. Okay, it sounds weird. I was thinking this on the way to home to work today about how, back in the day when we were younger, maybe if you're a millennial, you're in your 20s, you're, early 30s, you think about how like the evolution of adult content has like evolved over time. Like I remember back in the day, like Playboy was the thing. Like everyone liked Playboy, boys, guys.
Freudian slip.
You know what I mean? Everyone liked it, right? Everyone was so into it. You saw Playboy bunny shirts all over the place. You saw necklaces. I mean, I remember seeing Playboy stuff all over the place. And now in this world of OnlyFans, in this world of Instagram is damn near this close to being OnlyFans, and how, females and males can make, enormous amounts of money based on their adult content, but sometimes not even. On Instagram, it's not even, I mean, you could damn near label it as, but as far as being explicit adult content, it's not. And just how like that whole genre of magazines and models is just freaking, it's just collapsed. It's gone. You can be your own model now, Chad. You just get an Instagram account.
Yeah. Well, what it is so who has not wanted to be a celebrity, right? At some point in time, most people, I'm going to say 95% of the people, by the way, most statistics are made up on the spot anyway to fit a narrative. So as that being said, and the Fight Club that I'm not actually allowed to talk about, because first rule of Fight Club is talk about it. But if you do hear my dogs in the background, they're not fighting. They're actually making balloon animals for the circus. That's all. So back in the day, we all wanted to, like, who didn't want to have some degree of celebrityism, right? Like I wanted to have some degrees of celebrityism, but I didn't want to be the #1 actor, right? Like I wanted something a bit more potent in life. Now as an adult, that view has completely changed. And you'll hear me ridicule actors often, especially whenever they try to grandstand. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Sean Penn. No, there's a lot more. But the point is, so we've got all these people that all you have to do is you can become an celebrity. Do you remember the craze when everything was like named something, like after iPhone?
Yeah, I do.
It went on for about, I don't know, 5-10 years, something like that, where everything had like an this, right? And it was an indicator that it was a technology moving forward. And this is something to get you to look at it, right? Because it indicates immediately technology. So there was this concept that really pushed us into a lot of different values, like the celebrity. I can just flip on my phone, I'll put on a quick account. You've got the TikTokers, right? You've got Instagram, you've got, which is owned by Facebook. You've got Facebook. MySpace is still around, by the way. You've got these different platforms that you can put stuff on, right? There's Gab. There's actually a bunch of them. What it has done is it's given people a position where they feel that they actually have more to say or more valuable things to say without being able to sit in front of somebody to get a better feedback off of their intentions based off of their willingness to follow you. Some people are clout chasing and they think that I'm going to follow this person, and if I do, I'll learn the right thing so I can get the secret ingredients to be successful myself. So I'm going to follow this person for that reason, and I'll start modeling my own behaviors and channel after that. Then you'll have the other people that are the thirsty ones. They're following you, chasing you down because they're interested in you for physical reasons. And then there's people that follow you because they hate you. Yeah, we've got, we got one or two that occasionally pop up for us, but but the point is, like, it's created this technology outpacing our maturity. So bringing it back to OnlyFans. It came into existence because it gave people a very similar structure to kind of like if you take Patreon and Facebook and you put them together. So it allowed people to create content that's behind a paywall. So if you want to see that content, you pay this, and then you can get a membership to see it. But your membership goes directly to that individual. Page and OnlyFans takes a very small percentage. I believe it's 20%. It's a really low percentage of what they take, compared to like YouTube will take like 40% depending on what tier you're in. They'll take more in a lower tier, and as far as I know, we're not monetized yet, so that's not something they've been discussing with me about our show. But so what happened was there's actually controversy behind the OnlyFans decision. It's not like, hey, we want to clean up our act so that we become more likely to get investors. It wasn't that. Pornography sells, and you can get money for pornography because people see it as opportunity, and it has been a very lucrative industry for a long time. Thanks to was it Hustler that really kind of blew the doors open on that one. The guy that was in the wheelchair, I forgot his name, but he really, like, once we got past a very conservative court as a nation, we got past a conservative court that looked at pornography as being art instead of pornography being this thing of indecency. And that court decision gave us what we have now. In my opinion, it just involved this thing. So people can go on there, if you're not familiar with OnlyFans, and they can create an account and they can do whatever the hell they want. If you want to sit there and be like, you know what, if you want to watch me and you think I'm that interesting of a person, I'm going to leave my camera on at this particular period of time, and I'm going to do whatever I'm doing that you find interesting, as long as you're willing to pay for it. Now, the low-hanging fruit is, oh, look, my nip slipped out, or, hey, I bleached my butthole. So there's like a lot of different ways that people are trying to get attention on OnlyFans. Doesn't mean because you got an OnlyFans you're successful. There's actually only a few of them. There's a handful of them, or I'd say probably more than a handful, but it's not like a significant amount of them that are making good money at it. Now, that's the business proposal side of it that just sounds great.
You want to know the gap?
What's that?
You want to know the gap? I know the gap.
The gap between that and then what's
pay gap, as far as so some of the top producers on OnlyFans make around $198,000 a year, or excuse me, a month. That's a month. $198,000 a month, and then some make an average of $98 a month. That's a pretty good size gap, but it's probably due to sexism and racism and stuff. Because I mean, that's what happens whenever you can't explain the difference. You don't care to look for the details. Anyway, so let me not get on that egg crate climb. By the way, if you don't get the reference, there's a little challenge now that's the egg crate climb. People are stepping up on egg crates. Yeah, Gen Zs. It used to be everyone made fun of us, the millennials, and now the millennials are getting older. And you know what? I'm jumping on the bandwagon. It's the Gen Zs. I can see, hey, if you're a Gen Z follower, I love you. Don't think that I'm talking crap. This is just part of growing up. It's a part of becoming a different generation. I had it for years, so now it's your turn. Gen Zs, I can see Gen Zs coming from a mile away, Chad. Just looking at them, I can tell that they're a Gen Z. It's because they're like me, but worse. You know what I mean?
All right, that's fair enough. Well, so we've got all these different like weird things. I call them the Darwin Award challenges, right? Just waiting for somebody to break their goddamn neck or kill themselves altogether. And then somebody will try to step in and be like, there should be a law to stop this because nobody wants big government around here. Fucking goddamn, people need to wake up. Anyway, now, do you know the difference, like what's really going on or motivated OnlyFans to make a change?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Yeah. So here's the good stuff. Again, this is what I do all day. I try to, I hear something, and usually whatever I hear in the beginning is the surface level or superficial or whatever, and I use it kind of like a point on the compass that helps me get into real information. So what's going on with OnlyFans is they have content on their website that fall into bestiality, questionable age issues, potential minors, There was one guy, like prostitution is still not legal, even though people think it is in a lot of places, where there was one guy going around paying homeless people to have sex with him. And that was his OnlyFans channel, is what he would do for his content and get business. There are people that will, for the prostitution side on the other side, that's soliciting the homeless. The other is, if you like me enough, I can offer you a specific pay value. You can pay for me to meet with you, and we'll do certain things together. Kind of like a valet service or prostitution. So there's a lot of that stuff. There's questionable things when it comes to animal cruelty. There's all kinds of stuff, because smut shows up. Wherever you go with pornography, smut's not going to be far behind. It's that weird cloaked up like pervert looking around the corner. It's got a bunch of really strange shit that nobody wants to, well, next to no one wants to see. So there's a lot of different things that came up. So because of those things, they want to try to get away from it so that they're not culpable, because they're hosting it. So they can get in and they can start shutting this stuff down. What the original thing that they wanted to do is they wanted to go ahead and knock off all kinds of crazy stuff by saying, okay, if you're going to do a video, you cannot do pornography, but you can do nude modeling, you do all this stuff, but any genital penetration cannot do that. Orifice penetration, things like that. You're not supposed to do that. It's what they wanted to go to. Now, OnlyFans only really came up as quick as they did because they gave a unique outlet for content creators. So instead of just being, hey, check out these, this smoothie I made that's pre-workout. Oh, I just snuck my camera into the gym and did a real workout. And by the way, if you stick around later and you go through my paywall, you can see me change and get a shower. And if you really want to be able to pay a little extra, I'll give you opportunity to watch me pass bowel movements.
Is that really what people are doing on there?
I'm sure they are, because all kinds of people have weird kinks. Now, is that probably one of the top paying ones? No. But you know what they say about the Germans and their shat films?
It's true. And it's true, because
I'm
you
not
don't think
thinking
of it
about
like
Germans
that.
like poop stuff.
You don't think of it like that. Like, and it's always, and it's always the few, because I got to feel like the people that are committing, if there is animal cruelty on there. And that's what I love about the show so much, guys. It's different ways of looking at things. Now, was I saying that I was against, OnlyFans removing adult content? No. Was I saying I was for it? No. It's just what I looked at. And in my viewpoint of the situation was what I said at the beginning, right? Hey, if you can make money, do it. And it's nice how Chad has given us more facts in the situation as far as what's happening behind the scenes, because, I guess most people, when they see these things, they don't think of, the person that's committing animal cruelty or the other questionable acts, or, kind of this laxed environment as far as sexuality and just anything that is sexuality in our society that I feel like now is much more common than it was prior. You're almost like, I don't want to say cleansed, but you're almost immune to some things, right? In that kind of area of our lives. But to get more information on the situation, to say, hey, maybe there's a way to clean this up, and maybe this removing adult content wasn't going to work, but at least now it's being brought to attention to where maybe there'll be more pressure on OnlyFans as far as how they monetize their own content.
Yeah, and with it too, I mean, to give them credit, because I'm not going to take and bash them. It's this: if Joshua and I owned let's say the exact same concept of OnlyFans, what would be the realistic potential that we would be able to keep up with and moderate every single video uploaded, every single chat that's been produced or vlog or whatever, everything that goes beyond that once the paywall is, been accessed? Who's to say that we're going to be able to get in there and take care of this stuff, especially whenever, in the simple economics of it, is people typically evolve towards the money. Whatever the money is, they change their behaviors to try to get there. Sometimes you'll get a moral barrier that will stop them from taking certain actions, and other people are like, hey, it's all about making the money. I'll fit that jar of pickles in that particular area, whatever it is. Not that I watched that video, by the way. But the point, I really haven't. That's actually just me being a little facetious. But it's not realistic to expect them to be able to keep up with everybody. And once one starts to see that, it's hard to continue to get, or others start to catch on. If you think about Twitch, Twitch has been really bad about that. Twitch is kind of like HBO used to be when it had just the skin version before they got into showing a little bit more than that, you know, or the scene starts to show you something. You're like, oh, this is going to get good. And then it pans away to the person's facial expression as if it's telling you what's happening, because you can see the guy go, oh, you know, or the girl just do some weird, like, you know, she doesn't do that in real life kind of move, or, you know, with her, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I watched a little bit of it back in the 90s. So anyway, so point of it is we've got Twitch that does that. Twitch is actually a streaming service that allows people, it's not a streaming service like Netflix. What it is, and for the people that aren't familiar with it, you can go on and just like, hey, I'm playing a game and people want to watch you play your game. Sometimes they want to watch it to see if they want to buy it. Sometimes they want to watch somebody who's good at it. And you get pro gamers that go over to Twitch. And there's other channels that do it too, but Twitch is pretty much known for that. Then you get girls that are scantily clad. They call them Twitch thoughts. T-H-O-T. So what they do is they get on there and they act like they're playing a game. You'll get the screen capture of game, which you can do a screen record, like anybody can actually just play the game. They do a screen record and they're sitting there acting like they're playing the game. They have actually not only accused but caught girls doing that, where the game's going on, but then you see the video of them on the screen of what they're doing sitting in their chair. And the reality is like they're just sitting there kind of like doing stuff to try to tease these gamers into giving them donations, because on Twitch you can get donations. You can get like money from, you know, the people watching you. So some of those, whenever OnlyFans came out, they migrated over, they created an account with OnlyFans and they used Twitch as a marketing tool to get people over there so they can actually start making more money off of it. They can see more. Problem is with Twitch is that there are a lot of underage gamers and viewers that go on that, where places like, you know, OnlyFans, you have to validate your information to prove that you're at least 18. So you can get a 13-year-old giving you donations because they've got their parents' credit card or whatever. And it can fall into the very unethical lines. So, but those are like, people have evolved. They continue to figure out whatever systems they're working with and they start to evolve. In the early days of Twitch, that was unheard of. People only went there to see video games. And then girls figured out that they can actually get people to follow them. So the next thing you know, Twitch is dominated by female gamers, with a few exceptions. Like Ninja's one of them. It's a big streamer. PewDiePie also did some stuff with Twitch. The best that I know anyway. I could be corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure he did. Not an expert on Twitch, I'm aware of it. So, and then you get things like OnlyFans. You know, so I don't fault the company. It's just not easy to vet that stuff. So what you would have to do, and unfortunately, if we wanted to continue to hold decency, is to take something a little bit more Orwellian, which is, or Orwellian, however you want to say it. So what we'd have to do is to actually there are programs like bots, right? Like a program dedicated to seek out specific images and then flag the image so that it can get a human moderator to look at it. You know, same thing. You got there's auditory bots, so they listen for the music, stuff like that, or if there's something being said specifically that's keywords, it tries to isolate those things and then flag a moderator. There's the written portion, so they actually track based off what's written. Facebook uses that a lot, so they can identify, you know, specific language that's being used, so they can try to censor it. Not a fan of the censorship. Hate the censorship, by the way. But that would be one of the only ways to really try to catch that content, especially if you've got, you know, hundreds of thousands worth of users and account holders, and you're an outfit that doesn't have the resources to monitor that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just, you know, and females, all those listening, you win. Okay, you win. The females dominate social media chat, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, OnlyFans, y'all dominate it. Y'all got it. Y'all the best. You know, just keep doing your thing. Now, as far as what is going to continue, so you know that this is going to continue as time goes on. Chad and I were talking about how technology was, you know, and computers especially have continued to evolve as time has gone on. And it's like, we don't really see it in hindsight or in present because, you know, you're in that present moment. So every day kind of builds on top of one another, like we were discussing earlier. But yeah, technology, and then how eventually people are going to continue to figure out how to turn this tool that we have into a money-making machine, both those that create it, both those that use it, and everyone involved, whether it's, you know, now, I mean, shoot, cable is almost irrelevant. You know, pretty soon we won't have like Spectrum and all these cable companies, they won't be around. Streaming's taking over. And now you're starting to see, I don't know if you noticed, Chad, if you're an Instagram user, but now in Instagram stories, they're putting ads in the stories. Beforehand, it was just ads on when you were scrolling. Now, when you open someone's story, you actually see an ad there. So it's just going to continue. It's going to be the content creators trying to figure out more ways to make money, and it's going to be the advertisers to continue to try to like advertise. It's evolved. If you drive down the street, Chad, how many freaking advertisement signs do you just see all over the place?
Yeah, all over the neighborhood.
All over. And before, that was it. That's all they had. All they had was you driving to and from, and they had TV for a very short period in human history. So now we have this new, technology and social media and the internet, and it's a gold mine for all these technology companies and advertisers. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I know it works because you can damn near say something on your phone. The next thing you know, you got 100 ads. So I don't know. It's crazy. I'm afraid what it's going to be, Chad.
Hey, I've actually sat there and talked about in the office that I had, where I was sitting there talking to somebody else, and I said, you know what? I'm actually in a good spot. I'm gifted. I've got great hair. I don't have a receding hairline. You know, I'm not worried about losing my hair in my lifetime, going bald, anything like that. I'm not bragging necessarily. The context of the conversation worked in that way, that it was a natural progression in the conversation. So it was people listening, going, "Oh, listen to him. He's a hair supremacist." No. So, yeah, but I, within 30 minutes, received, when I went on YouTube, and in the videos, the advertisements that you get, because you have to give the almighty YouTube, you know, their penance before you get the opportunity to watch the video that you just found. Now they hit you with the double take. The first video that you can't skip, about 10, 15 seconds worth. And then the second video, you got to wait a good 6 seconds before you can skip it. Lo and behold, hair restoration shows up. Now, mind you, I've already shut Google's, I've taken away their permission to use the targeted advertisement, which is data collection from listening to you while your phone's just sitting there. I've also denied Facebook's option. So I've got to find out what other app I may have on my phone that has access to actively listen. Just sure as shit, these things are showing up. So is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's a thing. It's a thing that I don't personally like, because I feel it is intruding into our privacy. But hey, if it's something that helps you, I don't know about you, Joshua, but whenever something like that shows up on my news, on my feed, if it's in my Facebook, if it's in one of my other social medias, or if it's on YouTube, I am far less likely to be interested in the product than I am to be interested in it. It's the opposite effect on me than as if it's like, hey, this is targeted advertisement. Why would they want to buy this from you? You should pay us for advertising because it's already, the person said they're interested in it, and we're just going to get it into their news feed so they can follow it. Versus the skeptical people that are like, why the hell is this on my news feed? These bastards are listening to me. And then I've gotten to the point where I'm like, nope, done. You know, I was had a conversation over the weekend, and you know, she's like, you know, you seem to be aggressive about not listening to commercials. Like, you're right. It's like, why are you so aggressive? Like, because fuck them. First off, and I mean like these targeted advertisement commercials. So I don't mean in general, because I actually like older commercials you'd catch on television that ran through cycles, because it didn't seem like it was invading in on my private time, my personal information, my sanctity, you know, my sanctuary of opportunity to sit there and just be with me. So that's where I get into, well, maybe a little old school with that. I know other people like, I don't give a shit. You know what? I want to find the best deal on, you know, jumbo bottles or containers of anal leaves.
True. I think it's just because, you know, and I don't like it either, but I think it's just because of part of it is that the society that we live in now, we're so like consumption based in every way. Like, I don't just want a car, I want a Tesla. Or I don't just want a place to live, I want a mansion. I don't want to just have a baconator with one piece of bacon. I want the double baconator. You know, it's a society that we live in. And there's going to be some people that thrive in that consumer-based society. And there's going to be some people who just don't pay attention enough. And there's going to be some people who see that stuff. And a part of them is like puzzled, or I guess you could even say bothered by how far we've come in the way of advertising and sales and consumption. I mean, everything is consumption in our society, from the colors of, you know, fast food. You know, McDonald's, they use yellow and red. You know, those are colors that when you look at, they will actually make you hungry. Like, just the visualization and seeing those colors will spark hunger in your body. Like, it's all designed to work a certain way. You got beer commercials on there with hot chicks, you know, and guys in some commercials, you know, drinking the beer, you know, giving this illusion of this is involved with this. And people have just ate that shit up, Chad, for the last, ever since TV was invented, and ever since you could put advertisement for the world to see. It's just, yeah, it's just how we're built. It's how we are.
Imagine back in the day, like a caveman doing advertisement. He's all like, this one over here is the best. Ugh. And he's like doing this perfect squat. He's like building his little fire. He's like, fire start at 400. Gets it done. It's like selling cave to cave fire starters and shit.
Hey, you want a rock? I got a rock for you, homie. Come look at this thing. You know, like,
yeah, slaps the top of the rock. It's like, you can fit 48 oogs in here.
Sales must have been so hard back then.
Yeah.
Now you can literally, if you put your mind to it, Chad, you can make whatever you want. Back then, yeah. Look at this.
Was killing it. How many mountains do you see around here? That's right.
And it was like, it wasn't even money. You know, it was like, it was just like a barter system. Like, you had to go like find a rock and be like, I think I could sell this bad boy. You know, I could at least get two rabbits for this rock, and go out and go, yeah.
Wearing all of it on their body and shit, looking like that thing from frickin' the Labyrinth. Walking around. Let me show you something, honey, dear. Anyway, so we digress into a goofy subject piece, but yes, so we are geared towards consumerism. We do. We want to consume, because especially for the younger generation, they have advertisement targeted for the youngsters. I mean, shit, we did too. I had it back in the 80s. Now I'm dating myself, but anyway, you know, an Inspector Gadget, you know, and then the next thing I know, there's like a Happy Meal there's a McDonald's commercial that came on, and it happens that they had a, you know, Inspector Gadget toy, and I'm like, fuck yeah, mom, fuck yeah. Although I didn't say that back in the day, because I would have got my ass lit up. Thank you, mom, for teaching me discipline. And dad, yeah, dad in the home. Ooh, watch out! I'm a white supremacist, dad, a father in the home. Anyway, so, and then what do? See a McDonald's, see the arches, and they're like, mom, pull over. And it's like me in the back seat. I'm losing my mind. I'm no longer capable of being me. I am the kid that has to have it. You know, talking about a road hazard. You know, there I am in the back of my mom's Cadillac, flying forward. By the way, don't think we were balling like freaking Cruella DeVille back in the 80s or anything. No, it was a used Cadillac. Thank you very much for outing myself. But yeah, it fly forward. Mom, go. Turn in. And it's like, what would you think as an adult? And all of a sudden you got this little miniature version of you, but not. And it's like coming at you from the back seat, demanding you turn into this damn, fast food restaurant. And the only thing that I wanted 3 fries, a bite of a nug, and I wanted that damn toy. And then you get random toys, and you had to keep coming back so you can get the next one. And if you came back too soon, you got the same damn thing again. 25-cent toys, but to us, it was like, yeah, man, go gadget, and then break his arm off. Go back and get him. Yeah, because it was cheaply made. It wasn't made in America. But anyway, so I digress. point of it is that it does, and it works on us. But I think it's that some of us have degrees of skepticism where it makes me like, I am in the DISC assessment. I'm a C, I'm a D, or I'm a C, I'm a CI, which is a really rare combination. So I'm more of a C, which is I analyze things. Now I consider what's going on. I don't act fast. So that's a very strong portion of my personality. I analyze a lot. I look for details. I want to understand why one thing is different than another when they look similar, but they're not the same. I want to understand that, or if something's presented as being the same, and I want to know if it's the same or if it's similar, right? I want to know those things. Perhaps part of the reason why I'm so aggressive against these commercials, especially these targeted commercials, is because I feel like they're just trying to catch me at a moment when I'm vulnerable, and they're always listening. Now, like I said, I don't know which app is running actively collecting that data. I'm not crazy thinking that, Chicken Little, the sky's going to fall, or a conspiracy theorist like A Beautiful Mind or anything like that. It's just simple. It's the phenomena happens. It's not even a phenomenon, by the way. It's called targeted advertising. They'll pick up your information. It's just, they're going to do it. If you don't like it, get a flip phone. You might be able to get away from it then. But that doesn't mean your laptop, smart TVs. By the way, did you know that there was, what's the name of that TV? There's a TV that's made in China. Popular here. I forgot the damn name of it.
Roku?
No, but it's in that that category with the other ones. So it's not top tier television. It's the next one down. They're typically, you can get them cheaper. Forgot what they're called. Anyway, those TVs, when connected to the Wi-Fi for the smart TV functions, actually was giving your information to the Chinese government.
Jeez.
Not kidding. That's actually documented. It's in a lot of news articles and things. I think it was TCL or something like that.
Oh, geez. I have a Roku. I know people have a TCL, though. They're screwed.
Yeah. I believe that's actually the one. And it's not just cover the camera. It listens to you. It depends on what model you have. They do have them where they'll listen to you. I mean, like just like Amazon Fire, Roku, stuff like that. You can talk into your remote, or with your remote itself, you can talk into it. Some of these TVs actually do listen to you, and they give that information over. Does it mean that the Chinese government's going to come kicking in your door and come take you? No, but it's data collection. So it's what they go towards is called metadata collection. Just trying to collect as much information as possible so they better understand not only the consumer, but now you have another nation listening in on another, or one nation listening in on another.
Yeah,
so it could be a national security issue. Even though it's your house, what the hell are you going to do? You actually do have information that's valuable to a foreign country. Like we mentioned before about the flag and the particular cultural differences, you need to understand who you're actually dealing with. And if they're your enemy, you want to know them.
It's true. I mean, if you don't think this is true, like if you don't think that people are collecting your data, go look at your Instagram Explorer page and tell me that that's not exactly you. Actually, you know what? In the comments, if you go look at your Explorer page on Instagram and all the pictures that pop up there, tell me that it doesn't explain you to a T. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments so you can call me out. Because I almost guarantee you it is exactly what you look at on a daily basis. I mean, exactly. You look at, you're like, if you want a good self-check, go look at your Instagram Explorer page, because it'll show you everything that you freaking looked at, and it'll stack them as far as priority. It's crazy. I wish I would have made it, Chad. It's a crazy evolution as far as just data collection, and there's no more privacy. Privacy's gone. There's no such thing as privacy anymore. If you think there's such thing as privacy in this world, it is gone. It's over with. It used to be that, remember that whole, hey, can you keep a secret? There are no more secrets anymore. Everything you do, it has some kind of digital paper trail, digital trail. Even when you're not, if your phone, I remember like back in the day, like, in the 70s and the 80s, before technology became like super high tech. I remember those like mob bosses and several other people that were kind of in this area where they didn't want their information getting out, and they wouldn't even talk in the same room as phones. Like if
Yeah.
there was a phone in the room, like a little, cord phone, they wouldn't even talk in the same room as it. Little did they know that they were way ahead of their time, because now I don't even know how people get away with crime anymore, because they have a complete paper trail, a digital little footprint of everything you freaking do now.
Hey, just imagine that at some point in time, if we keep going the route we're going, if you watch the movie The Minority Report,
Yeah.
that's a frightening movie if that were to become a reality. Now, the good thing is, on the beneficial side, is if you do truly intend to create a crime, our current legal system could not try you if you intended it, unless you actually set motion towards it, like you hired a hitman or something, right? But if you just thought it in your own mind. Minority Report, for the people that haven't watched it, was actually, the idea of it was designed that if you had the potential to kill somebody and you were starting to think about it, and the future action would be that you did do it or caused harm, they could catch you beforehand because they had an ability to see into the near future, and then they can go investigate it and find you, and then arrest you before you committed the crime. So if they could get to that point, as far as the government's, in my particular opinion, the government would love that technology. The other side is, think about the noble thing that happened in Batman whenever they were trying to find out where the bomb was. Now, Batman, what was that? Batman, The Dark Knight
Returns with Bane.
Yeah, Returns with the one with Bane, right? So he's trying to figure out where the bomb is.
Oh, it's just called The Dark Knight. My bad. The Batman Returns.
Yeah. That was with Michael Keaton. That goes back.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. So, but with it, he's trying, so Bruce Wayne has this specific technology, and it uses echolocation and a digital footprint. So it can give everything in the city all at once. He can have access to where everything and anything is, and go directly to that thing that he's looking for, and then he can find it in person. He could go straight to that thing. And Morgan Freeman was his butler, which was he still Alfred? I think he was.
Yeah. Just Alfred. Yep.
Oh, yeah. He's against it. This is unethical. If you do it, I'm done. And Batman was so incredibly desperate, he used it so that he could find out where that thing was, and he ended up, because of it, saving Gotham. But it was at a cost. The reason why I pointed that is because that's actually going the noble route to not do it. So if we could, should we? The thing is, though, it's not just about the United States, like us, being able to use this type of technology and this type of metadata collection. It's not about should we, it's also our enemies will likely use it to their own advantages. Warfare is changing. It's the likelihood we're going to see real warfare is reducing on a daily basis. Now, how much is it reducing? Not significantly, but as the years pass, it makes less and less sense to ever actually have a physical conflict, as much as it is to actually have a digital conflict. Because if you can best a country because of its entirety, infrastructure and everything else is so incredibly dependent on the technology that the company or the country runs by, and then you interject on that technology, what does that do to that country? Like, why do we have a data system that shut down the Keystone, not the Keystone, Colonial Pipeline, whenever we had the cyber attacks several months ago? Why do we have so much data and or so much reliance on that technology that they could not get that system to run without it? That's not a good thing. Meatpacking plant got hit before that one, or just after that one. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Same thing there. They got hit with a cyber attack and it shut down their systems, so they could not process their animals. So they couldn't do it because the system was down, because they became too dependent on it. So anyway, I've been really looking into a lot of things, and I'm not saying anything as far as conspiracies go. I just look for similar patterns of things and just say, hey, you know what if that? I'm not throwing myself at it going, that's happening. Couple of movies that I suggest for people to watch, just to say, you know what? Oh, that's an interesting similarity. Not to say this is a documentary from a first person perspective, not going that route. But V for Vendetta, unbelievably eerily similar to what we're going through right now. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it, and you will, I promise you, you'll thank me after. Have you watched that one, V for Vendetta?
I think I've seen parts of it.
Watch the whole thing beginning to end. I promise you, you're going to text me or message me immediately and say, Chad, thank you.
It's good.
It's beyond good. It's
Really?
scary. Yeah, it's frightening. Really is. Look at it, watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not saying it's happening, but with that movie, I swear that movie is looking more and more like a documentary as the days go by.
I'll have to check it out. I love movies. I haven't seen a good movie in a long time. Last movie good I saw was Joker. Did you watch Joker?
Yeah, with yes, with
Yep. I'm not gonna say it. Yep.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Now,
make a
that was
movie.
actually really good because what that did is like I studied psych in college. For anybody who's watching now and didn't actually that hasn't caught previous episodes, I studied psych in college. What I loved about Joker is that it showed a real human being's transition into madness and how the systems that should have supported him started to fail. That was a very good movie to show you that transition. Because it wasn't like, oh, he's a madman and just take our word for it. It actually showed the creation of that human being. It was a very good movie. It was well written, and it's rare in this day and age to have a movie like that.
Right.
I know it got hate, but you know what? There's not going to be a movie ever to come out again, ever in existence, that everybody's going to be like, I love that movie. Forget it. It's not happening. That is a position that we do not go to anymore. We have, it's either you love it or you hate it. And there's a lot of people that throw hate at stuff they never even watched. So, but that was an awesome movie. Loved it. Loved it. The transitions were just exactly because it was the right level of suspense to, you know, the, oh, now that makes sense because you went through the transition. Now, and then if you've watched the other ones, then you understand why that one was so important to the other movies in the canon.
Mm-hmm.
So Joker. Now, he didn't look like a madman anymore. He looked like a man that like slipped into madness. But it made him human.
It's funny how we're on the Batman topic because after I watched the Joker, you know, as a really big Batman fan my whole life, I was kind of like, you know what, Batman's the asshole, you know. And we talked about the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises earlier. There's a theory on the Dark Knight, especially with the Joker as Heath Ledger, that the Dark Knight, you could pick two different characters to be the Dark Knight in the movie, and that is one Batman, and that is one the Joker. The way you look at it, Batman could be the good guy, or Batman could be the bad guy, and that the Joker could be a good guy, and the Joker could be a bad guy. Just to bring that back to our original topic that we were talking about before, in technology, there's two ways to look at it, right? It depends on your perspective. You know, Morgan Freeman said, if you do this, I will quit. And then Batman says, well, if I do this, I'll save the world. And that's kind of what our society is right now. You know, it's just two different viewpoints and two different perspectives on what they think is the best and what they think can save. And it's really nice to bring, you know, something as, you know, Batman. Everyone I feel like knows who Batman is. To, you know, use you know, a little movie, discussion that we had to tie it back to what we said as far as, you know, where we're going as society is really based on two different vision points. And you know, you're always going to have two viewpoints of the aisle. But at the end of the day, we got to get back to the, you know what I mean? There's just got to be that middle ground that we're just missing.
Yeah. You know, something to consider. What do you think it would look like when, like, for the United States to fall? Like what you've seen, right? We have Red Dawn. We have two different versions of Red Dawn. If you haven't watched it, also great movies. One is the Russians invaded. That was Red Dawn back in the 80s. I think it was actually 84, 85, something like that. Great actors in it, by the way. It was actually a very good movie. Well, it was really entertaining. It was a good movie. And then you had the more recent Red Dawn that actually had the Chinese invasion. So you had the Russians or the Chinese that invaded the United States. The fall of the United States, in my opinion, will never be we get invaded. It'll be that we fall because we're falling from the inside. Now, how exactly? How I see this happening is the first thing that we need to have our Bill of Rights rewritten so that we have less freedoms. We also have to have the Constitution look like it's antiquated, something that's outdated and needs to be removed, or updated, which takes away freedoms because, like they say, You know, the founding fathers didn't mean that you needed to own an AR. That's where you get ignorance willfully being played with, because they don't understand why that was actually there. Then they're like, well, we had said we needed it because it was to fight the British and just in case they came over to invade, but nobody's going to invade us anymore, so you don't deserve your Second Amendment. So that's, you know, the freedom of speech. What's actually going at what's happening to freedom of speech? Now, freedom of speech is we're losing it because it's considered like they're categorizing things under hate speech that are not hate speech, but they're categorizing it. And when you get into it, and you start saying this is hate speech, this isn't. What happens is you create credibility for whoever created the terms in the first place. And whoever created the terms in the first place also categorized that term under a specific amount of information. So if you say hate speech, you think racism, you think sexism, you think homophobia, things like that get added into the term hate speech. And then it's been put into a position where they say, well, you know what? If it's going to invoke the person to hurt somebody else physically, then it's hate speech. That was what it was originally back in the 90s, 2000 something. Hate speech was categorized as that thing. Then it's gone to, if you hurt my feelings, that's hurt me, that's violence. So it's a change of terminology that continues to erode the actual definitions that we've lived by. So you keep changing that terminology, before you know it, those terms have now gone to the point where you're getting closer and closer to a thing called thought crime. If thought crime is ever a position, freedom of speech is gone. So yeah, so as far as that goes, it's something that you really want to consider, that the changing that we're going through, like Joshua said, the falling, the fall of America will look like Rome. It fell from within. It was the Senate squabbled for power. They didn't like Caesar. They did everything they could to take Caesar's powers away. You know, they got to the point, fuck, they even like stabbed Caesar to death in the Senate. You know, so we get a lot of weaponized language. And what that does is it creates more tribalism and it stops us from communicating. Our fall will be because of ourselves. Because we can't recognize somebody attached emotional strings to us and they're getting us to fight with each other while they make all the changes that they want. And they are doing that currently, making all the changes they want. We have a power-hungry group that's controlling all three branches of government. Right now, there are more people, more illegal immigrants coming through the southern border right now that we cannot continue to track because there's too many of them. We're at a what is it, a 17-year high, something like that. It's insane. Yeah. And the Democrats are pushing through bills that are called voter integrity bills, which say that, okay, well, voter rights are being challenged. The thing about it is, voter rights are not being challenged. The changes that they made during the 2020 election, during the pandemic, they made those changes under an emergency situation. And then now that the Republicans want to push it back so that it looks like it did pre-2020, they're saying, no, they're trying to take your rights away. And then they hyperbolize it and sensationalize it to make it sound like they're taking these things away from you. So what's happening is that they're taking things away from you by using language to disarm you from what's actually going on. They're convoluting what they're doing, and they're doing it in plain sight. It's like a magician. They get you to look somewhere else while they do something. Well, they're also using language that distracts you while they're saying it. It's a very, it's like what a lot of attorneys do in order to continue to make you pay them a lot of money, because they write things in legal jargon that you yourself, not being trained in it, you can't read it without scratching your head going, I think I get it, or I'm lost. So am I a doomsday sayer? No, I am saying wake up, start looking outside of the box. However you thought yesterday, consider it's outdated. you need to think a little bit differently today, but I'm not saying abandon everything that you thought yesterday. I'm saying continue to grow, continue to look outside of what you consider to be the right way of thinking, and continue to find the things that are necessary to understand our reality. So Rome didn't fall because the barbarians destroyed it. Rome was weakened before the barbarians finally showed up at the gate.
Great articulation. And now, Chad, just to add into that, so this flag behind me, okay, all these America haters out there, I'm just going to remind you on just a little wee tangent. Before this flag, every single country, civilization that existed was a dictatorship. It was ruled by one individual or an oligarchy or a group of high elites that decided what the people wanted was what they wanted, and they knew best. Before this, there was none of what we live in on a daily basis. Now, does that mean that we've gotten this perfect? Absolutely not. But I also want to remind you of something. There's slavery that exists today. Okay? Today. In the world today. We have not gone without our mistakes, but we have corrected our mistakes faster than any civilization that's ever existed. Think of it like this: 1980 and 2001, okay, are the same time apart as 1939 and 1980.
Wow. Right?
Time moves fast, people. And the amount of time from our creation, as far as a nation in 1776, to the Civil War, to the end of slavery, to the Civil Rights Movement, to women's right to vote, to all the things that we've accomplished in such a short amount of time, there are countries to this day that have not done it and that have had a 1,000-year head start. So I understand people's frustrations as far as the things that they feel that have been unjust to them, or the things that they feel that have held them back. But never forget that the only reason why we're even able to talk about those things in our society is because of that flag right behind us. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we don't protect that, then no one is going to get anything better than what they have now. No one is going to be able to see justice. No one is going to be able to get that career that they want. None of it. It'll be dictated by someone else. And this little freaking miracle that we've created that is the United States, that allowed people to make decisions, and those decisions will shape that country, will cease to exist. So there's my little tangent on that. Think about that. Okay, think about
it. That's why it's called your patriot, my Kraken. Get in there, buddy.
I mean, not just for everyone, whether it be, you can come here and be a citizen. You can go through naturalization. As far as African Americans, the African Americans in the United States have more opportunity than anywhere else in the world. Asian American, you name it. No matter if you're gay, no matter if doesn't matter your race. I don't care what gender you think you are. If you want it, baby, in this country, you can make it happen. And there's nowhere else on earth that you can say that. Nowhere.
No, yeah. If they have not, if it is anywhere else, it's because they made it because of us, or they made it because of the way we do it. Now, there's colonization that Britain did, but that does not mean they became democracies. The Netherlands, they're a democracy. They would not be where they are right now, even though you can say that the French and the French and the Dutch taught us democracy. But ultimately, yeah, we actually made them envious by how free we made things. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. But here's the thing. When you look off to the distance, you see a lot more potential because of all of the blood, the sweat, the tears, the sacrifices that have been made up into this point. You get the privilege to have that perch on that giant's shoulders so you can look forward. And what we have is we have people being taught to look backwards and say, look at all of this injustice that has happened because we have a moral position that's afforded by the sacrifices of the people that got us where we are. And now we're going to look back and say they did it wrong. we have is people that don't understand the fight to get here. They don't understand the formation, 1776 of the United States. We had to start practicing something out of what we had not known. Like, we didn't know what this was going to be. We just knew we didn't want the monarchy. We knew we didn't want a dictatorship. So we had to start from something that we had background experiences and things that were not what we wanted to have. But who's to say you're going to go in and say 100% of everything that I've ever experienced, I don't want that, I want this other thing. Human beings can't function like that. We don't whitewash everything. That was a racist statement, but you know what? Democrats will make it that, especially progressives. We can't whitewash out everything about our past, and all of a sudden we have every single wonderful attribute of what we've developed in our lifetime and say the other stuff, never again. And then move forward cleanly of our past. You have to continue to figure out where things in the past are outdated, and then you develop off of that. But right now we have people that haven't even put the effort in to create the country they want. They're out to destroy the country we have to create what they want because somebody gave them a hypothetical idea of the way that things work. And if you're a communist, why don't you look into the life of Karl Marx and find out that that man was a fucking mooch. He couldn't make a life as an adult without sucking off of the teat of his friends. He was a fucking couch cruiser. He was nothing. He was what was Joseph Smith? The founder of Mormonism.
Adam Smith?
Adam Smith was I think it was Joseph Smith.
It's so funny that we said
Adam
Smith.
Yeah, one's it's not
Adam Smith was like the founder of like economics.
Yeah, he was our early patriot. All right, he was one of our founding fathers. No, but we get people like they're mooches. If you don't know the story of Mormonism, although I think I've got the name wrong, but you know what? It'll probably come to me at 2 a.m. and I'll wake up like I got Tourette's screaming it. Auditory Tourette's, 5% of the people actually have that. So, you know the story about him? Enough, and it won't be a long story.
John Mormon, about how he found those things in the woods.
Yes, the templates or the plates, the golden plates that nobody else could look at. He was convicted of being a con man in New York. He left New York, and then he came, like he met people, and he said that he went out, the angel Moroni, right? Which is, if you don't read it the way they put an accent on it, it looks like moron. That's the way I always look at it. Whenever I see Moroni, I'm like, moron. Okay, got it. So he says, I went into the woods and I found these plates, and they're seer plates or whatever. You got to look into the hat to see it, but only he's allowed to do it. Joseph Smith. And then he convinces his neighbor to put him up. So they're sharing a house so that he could preach his religion and continue to develop it. All he did is he took a lot of the tenets from the Bible, and then he created his own portion so he can create ownership over it. And before you know it, he had enough people convinced that he was earning a living. It was his own vices that actually cost him his life, because at the end of his life, he had slept with so many people's wives and lied, and obviously was such a hypocrite through his life that the villagers, the town folk, they strung his ass up. They killed him because they just had enough of his shit. But what does Mormonism teach? They don't teach the end of his life where he was a fucking lunatic, where everybody realized it. It was the other stuff. So Karl Marx, a failure in life. Failure. He could not create anything and keep it alive without conning somebody else into helping him with his lifestyle. That's your communism. That's Marxism, communism, but it's communism. It's evolved since then into other things, and we'll go into that right now. It's for another episode. We've got socialism. Tell me where it's worked. You have mixed economies. Norway's a mixed economy. It's not a socialist economy. It's a mixed economy.
Oh, we are, right?
We're a mixed economy with small levels of socialism. Denmark is more of a larger degree of socialism. It's a mixed economy. Now, here's the thing with it. Wherever socialism is, the taxes go up. So for people like, I'm okay with paying a little bit more in taxes. Are you okay with paying 60% of your taxes or your money into taxes? Less than 50% of what you work for right now, you're okay with paying that to the government? so that they can fund things for people that may or may not want to work, may or may not want to do things to proactively take care of themselves. So these people that are pointing this shit out, Venezuela is a great example of exactly what happens whenever something goes from a democracy to socialism. We've got people trying to get out of Cuba right now. That's communism. They want out of Cuba. They want to be in the United States. We let people through the southern border of these, the federal government lets people through the southern border right now, unvetted, with COVID. They're allowed to come in. They can go wherever the hell they want. They're coming from 143 other countries. But if they're coming from Cuba, federal government turns them around and sends them back to Cuba. They say for the people crossing into the southern border, they're here so they can find refuge and to get away from an oppressive government, so they can finally get an opportunity to live in the promised land. But yet we're going to turn Cubans away. Here's the reason why. For me,
No sense.
2/3 of those people are going to vote Democrat that come over the line. The third one's not likely to vote. Cubans are almost 100% of the time going to vote Republican.
It's true.
So it's a political reason, in my opinion, but it's a strong piece for that opinion. So anyway, all right, I'm going off
Cuba.
quite a bit.
Cuba's a good topic. That's coming back up again. That's a great topic. I don't think we brought up in the show chat that we have to talk about is Cuba.
It's gotten out of the media cycle, so people stop paying attention. It hasn't stopped. So it's just not in the media cycle, and there's a reason for that. Afghanistan's a fucking shit show. Our current president, vomit in my mouth saying that, has fucked up so much. And he's not, what is he just at? He's just at 8 months in. Just at 8 months in.
We got 3 more years.
At this much of a fuck up. And this, there's no way you do this many un-American things without having the intention to do it.
I had a teacher, Chad, tell me verbatim, left teacher, verbatim, you know what? I miss Trump. That came out of her mouth. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm not a Trumper. That's been a very common phrase that's been thrown around for people that vote Republican lately as a Trumper. I'm not this, I'm not that. I look at things and I analyze and I vote to the best of my ability to what I think is correct. But we ship the pooch here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean,
we ship the pooch.
Seriously. I mean, this is bad. Like it's not good what's going on right now. And I don't care if you want to die in the hill or this and that. Was Trump perfect? No, but Jesus H. Christ, we are really falling off right now in every aspect.
Here's something that I have actually started to take up. Stop playing their game. So when we use specific language, like we feel that we have to preemptively defend our position before we even talk about our decision. Excuse me. Like your statement that Trump isn't perfect. Who the fuck is saying that he is? And now I'm not saying you, I'm not coming down on you. I'm hearing this in a lot of people. Well, Trump's not perfect, but okay, what we did in a linguistic perspective is we created a disqualifier, and then we created a position changer, but as a position changer. And then we get into whatever we're wanting to get after. So you have a negative, and then you have a shifter, and then you have whatever you're going to say. But it's almost like we have to say that in order to even go to the table for discussion.
It's true.
Like calling the autonomous zones. So don't call them that. Do not play their fucking game. Those are no-go zones. Don't normalize the speech, because if you normalize the speech, it becomes part of our known culture. But we can't do that. So I agree.
No, good thing to add to that, Chad, before you move on. It's very true. I have a friend who is not very, he doesn't align with me politically. He has a lot of reasons why to dislike Trump, and I've mentioned to him recently for my approval of Trump, and I talked to him just like Chad said this, but the first thing he said was, "What does that matter? You're still going to be you the next day. You're still going to be Joshua every day of the week. What does that matter?" And it made me think, like, wow, like, yeah, Chad's right. Like, I feel like I have to defend my position before I even say it, so that socially people will accept me and my viewpoints in that scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was getting a message in here, but that is the way that it's presented, right? So in closing for all of this, guys, do not play the game. When you normalize it in speech, you're conceding a position. You don't know it, but you're conceding a position. Now, most likely you don't realize it. It's a linguistic trick, but it causes a psychological shift over time. So we've done it, and I've done it more than I want to admit to it. Actually, fuck that. I'll admit to it and not even be ashamed of it. I've done it because I wasn't thinking about that. And I found out over time that I was actually creating my own problem because I kept doing that. I addressed it earlier on a social media post. Actually, it was on Fascist Book. But, and when I say Fascist Book, I'm talking about Facebook. And it was about, the way that linguistic tricks take place, like the absolutist argument. You say something, like I said, every time, or what I said exactly was, as exact as I can make it right now. Every leftist I've had a discussion / argument with and proven to them that they have contradictions in their logic have resorted to referring to me as a pseudo-intellectual. Now, why refer to me as a pseudo-intellectual first? If you're going to make a claim, you have to have a basis for it. Now, do I claim to be a high degree intellectual? I don't claim that. I've been told that by a lot of people because it's the way that my brain works. I'm not claiming high ground. I'm looking for details in the way that conversations go so I better understand what we're discussing. And then I look for, because I've trained in the scientific method, I look for all premises of the scientific method's vetting process before I will accept something as fact. And even then, it isn't accepted as full-blown absolute fact. It's considered to be fact to this point. Means that it has revision proper opportunities. That keeps you from being arrogant or pompous about your information. So this person would refer to me, and I've had this happen a lot of times, that it's always the left, or there are people that claim they're Republican, but everything about their argument is left, and I don't really consider them to be Republicans. There's been 2 of those, and I really don't think they are. I'm not a Republican, by the way. Again, not a disclaimer. It is. I'm a non-party affiliate. I'm not married to either side. I will not vote for anything unless I have researched it thoroughly. So they resort to that. And as soon as, like, if you take what I said initially, every leftist that I've had discussions with / arguments, what they do to discredit you in an argument is they try to put the label of absolutist on you. So what that means is they go to every leftist and they focus on that versus that I've had discussion / argument and the qualifiers that follow the initial position. So they push back to the initial position and say he's an absolutist. And if you're left, you're going to be like, well, this guy's a lunatic, because I don't feel that way, and I would have a discussion with him. He is not reasonable. So as soon as you go to the secondary part of this, is what they do is once you go to correct it and say, that's not what I'm saying, they talk louder and they talk faster. So they talk over you. So you don't have the ability to defend, and they've already come up with a way of trying to distract you while you're trying to defend yourself. You're not talking with each other at that point, you're talking at each other. But the way the emotional thinker works is if you're emotionally engaged or you're just passively listening to the conversation or reading it or whatever, you're not paying attention to a lot of the tricks that are taking place and looking at the logical values and the scientific values of it. You look at the emotional perspectives of it and you think, because this person is talking faster and louder, they're more impassioned, they must be right. While I'm trying to cool, calm, and collectively defend and correct my position, they're talking louder and faster and they won't let me do it. and they're trying to come up with other points for me to address. And if I don't address those points while I'm correcting the initial allegation, then they say, well, then what do you mean? So you're saying that you're not into beating your wife? You can't even answer that question without convicting yourself to something.
True.
It's dirty tricks and conversations and debates because they don't have real arguments. They have trickery to try to emotionally win over favor. So I went on a long tangent there about that, but that was just how to understand better about how this shit goes on and the way that these people think. So the other thing is I did get banned. I don't know if you read that post or not. I got banned from a Reddit account, like permanently banned. I'm not allowed to go back there to say anything, but I can just see what they're writing. No, and all it was is it's a r/Florida. And I did not realize that is a blue dot group almost exclusively. And they're going after DeSantis hard. That Nikki Fried gets on there. They have a shit ton of comments, and then they lock comments so you can't reply. You can just upvote, downvote, that's it. So I fortunately got on one of them that I could reply on today. And I did not go in the emotional, I did not slander, I did not deface them in any way. All I did was talked about, theirs was about school mandate masks in Florida, that they're against it and they're calling DeSantis stupid for it and all the rest of this stuff. And I'm like, well, your point is about the spread of COVID. Why can't we talk about the southern borders and how we have all these people coming in that are unvetted? Just coming into the country, they can go wherever they want. They do not have the same restrictions that citizens have. They can go wherever the hell they want. Why don't we talk about that? Or how about we talk about Obama having his birthday party with all these people and going clearly against what the CDC had to say about the restrictions and the mandate or their guidance and going against their guidelines. Now, I also went after, what the hell was it? I went after quite a few points on it, but I was not disrespectful. What I was saying is look at this stuff. I also dropped a little nugget in, which is look at leaky vaccine, look up the definition, and look up antibody dependent enhancement. Just look those up. The other is, and the thing I did not put on Reddit before I got banned was, why aren't we discussing antibody immunity and the fact that if you've already had the vid several times or have had it, you're immune to it because your immune system knows what to do with it. And likely if you catch it again, you're not going to have as bad a complications most likely than you would if it's the other way around. But we're not allowed to discuss that. We can't walk around with I'm naturally immune because I've had it already. We can't walk around with those cards. You either get the shot or you're restricted. You know, you can't go places. I did mention that. And I did also bring up the Nazi similarities, how they claim Nazism for the longest time, but we look clearly at the things that they're doing that are Nazi control mechanisms, or at least the framed concept of Nazi control, which is just really totalitarianism. So I brought all that up and then they fucking banned me. Not even a comment back. Like, you're done. You're not commenting on this thread again. So I hurt their feels, but you know what? Maybe I'll reach somebody with that comment before they deleted it. Who knows? Or maybe they deleted it before anybody got a chance to read it. But there was a shit ton of lefties on there. I mean, there was blue all over the place. And the sad thing is, blue's my favorite color, but god damn it, I hate the political side of it. So anyway, all right, that's a nice long tirade. Frickin' Joshua even had to slap on a seatbelt as I went through that one, because I was all over the damn place. I was driving that frickin' tirade like I stole it, just like 2020 election, you sons of bitches.
It's true. I mean, yeah, it's all good stuff. It's all good topics, Chad. We had a bunch of tangents. I mean, that's really it for today, guys. We had a great show. I thought it was, interesting. Chad and I, we go through our own stuff during our lives, and not always do we have time to watch, the soapbox for news and whatsoever. There's some definitely news topics that maybe we don't normally cover in the show, or some different viewpoints. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button, pound that bell, hit that like button, leave a comment. Earlier in the show, I said, hey, go look at your Instagram Explorer page if you don't think that they know exactly everything about you. Comment that in there. And hey, if you like the show, if you want to hear us talk about something about in your life or whatever it may be, things you'd like to hear about, we're an open talk platform. It's really a discussion channel is what it is. We're not really geared towards one thing. It just so happens that most of the time we talk about politics, which blends into every aspect of our lives. So please leave some comments, share our videos. Really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next week. It's Wednesday, hump day. Stay golden, pony boy, and just keep on trucking. We'll see you guys soon, as always.
That's right. Remember, we're Americans. Let's act like it. We are in this together. Whoever's put the emotional strings on you, that's got you puppeteering and fighting us like that movie Team America, where they're just like, oh, it's real, shake 'em off. If you haven't watched that one, also go watch that. Apparently, I got a lot of movie references in this episode. But again, appreciate you, Joshua, as always, trying to be, that anchor for me so I don't go too far off into the ether of discussion. Until next time, remember, again, we're in this together. So try not to kill anybody else. Don't do anything stupid like that. And again, I'm speaking figuratively, not literally. And let's really continue to open up our perspectives. And if you want to see change, you really do need to be that change. If you want people to stop being so hostile, check and see how often you're being hostile. All right. Till next time. Sir Chad Everbroshears. I am the host of Waking the People with my wonderful co-host over there doing the Princess Diana wave. Stop, don't drive through any tunnels or anything from the paparazzi. All right. Even though the prince would sing about you, we need to keep you around for a bit. All right, buddy. Now, till next time, we'll catch you later. See you. Oh, wait. Nope, wrong one. There we go. See you.